Hello again, folks. Welcome back to the Limited Potential Podcast. I am your co-host Luke here with Drake again. Drake, how we doing?
What it is, what it isn't, what it could be.
What also couldn't be.
I don't think that's no.
Yeah, see, once again, people, I'm always wrong. He couldn't even finish his drink.
Tonight's episode is sponsored by some diet Dr.
God.
Kelp.
God's
Delicious
nectar.
Nectar of the gods.
Yeah, God's nectar.
Literal came down from Mount Olympus itself.
You know, we haven't done maybe we should do another soda tier list after this, because it was before this had come out, and same with cream soda.
Yeah, honestly,
we didn't do one with that and cream soda. I'd be genuinely curious to see.
Yeah, the big dogs. Stood. Yeah, honestly, that's I'd be down. That'd be good. That'd be a good idea.
We might need to bring a special guest in for that as well too. I was kind of thinking about that. We need a third to kind of debate everything.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Always, Drake never deals in absolutes. He doesn't want to.
Only Sith deal in absolutes, Luke. Don't you know this?
I know. I'm just more or less.
Come on, man.
I don't have the energy to deal in unabsolutes.
Yeah, dude. I live in a constant flux of probabilities.
Yeah.
And
So
averages.
I hope everyone's having a good fall season. It's been a little bit more like fall up here. Where I live, usually you get about a week of fall temperatures, and then you're in it's like boom, 70 degrees, week of fall temperatures. Enjoy some pumpkin stuff, some pumpkin pie, some some cider, and then all of a sudden it's snowing. You know what I mean? Like up here, I've trick-or-treated and like I've scared people in a foot of snow. You know what I mean? Like it's different when you're in the north compared to other areas in the nation, I guess. The one thing I'm curious though, Drake, speaking about weather and natural things that happen, I have never asked you a question that I am genuinely curious about living your time in California, and that is, have you ever experienced an earthquake?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I absolutely have. Actually, I have one earthquake story that like was like a video game to me. Kind of just crazy on how it was. But go ahead and I'll let you continue. We can talk about it. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's so like I kind of wanted to touch on that because I kind of wanted to talk to you about some specific natural disasters that not only would you want to experience maybe one in your life or whatever as well too. But let's start with your earthquake stories, because like I said, I've never asked you that, and like genuinely, I thought about it earlier today. I'm like you were gone for so long, and like where you lived is such a hotbed of not only fault line activity but volcanic activity, that I was genuinely curious to know like what you experienced and what happened in California.
Not only that, but also wildfires too.
Yep.
So I lived in Southern California, and when I was there, there was quite a few earthquakes actually that went through us, but not very big ones. I can't remember what the Richter scales were, but I just remember two main experiences. One time I was with my buddy's house, and he was showing me the video game WoW for the first time, and I was like, oh shit, this is kind of crazy. I can't play this game because I'll just get sucked right in, and I won't be able to do anything else for my life, So, so I stayed away from that game. But he was showing me it, and all of a sudden, like, he's sitting at the computer desk, and I'm sitting next to him, and all of a sudden, just the whole screen just starts shaking like crazy, and like what the hell's happening? Then the whole desk and the house starts going crazy, and we're just like sitting like, oh shit, what's going on? And it's just he and I in the house alone, and it like went on for like a good minute, and then it stopped. But I just remember like that feeling of like the instant adrenaline rush, the heartbeat going like, this is like crazy. It was the whole house was shaking,
Yeah.
There was that one. Then the second one that I have is I was in my parents' house, in my bedroom, and I had like this mattress on the floor. It wasn't a mattress; it was more like just foam, but it was like a super thick foam, and it was just incredibly comfortable. It was like memory foam feeling almost, and I had that on my bedroom floor because when I had my friends would sleep over, they would sleep on that, and I was actually laying on that just because it's so damn comfortable, dude. So I was sleeping on that, and in my bedroom, in front of my door, there's the entrance to the attic, up there, and I was gonna buy a bunch of 2x4s and stuff, and build like a little ladder into the wall, and like build up a little room inside there so I can hang out up there and shit. Like during the winters and stuff, or the summers, and just kind of make it like an extension of my room and kind of like a just cool like hangout area. So I had a bunch of 2x4s leaning up against the corner of my room, and I'm like sleeping on that memory mattress foam. And I just remember like feeling the house shake, and I wake up, and as soon as I wake up, the 2x4s start to fall like right towards my face. So I just had to stick my hand up and like grab them and like throw them off to the side quick, and then like sit up and like roll over quick before the other ones fell on me. It was like it fully reminded me of like the action sequence in a video game where like you gotta like press A in time, or
Yeah.
like dodge roll to the left just in time, like the time sequence to do that. It was literally like that. Like it woke up and then it was falling, so I had to like hand out, throw it to the side, and roll over to the side in time for the other ones to like not hit in my face.
That was your very
I
own
mean, I would.
your Final
Yeah,
Destination movie. That's what it was.
yeah, dude, it was. I mean, it wouldn't. It was 2x4, so would it hit me in the nose or the face? Would it hurt? But nothing too
Dude,
bad.
that would
I
have
was
been
never in
such a
any like
rude
major.
awakening. That was a
If I
rude
was
way to
sleeping
wake
still,
up.
dude, yeah, dude, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
I would have been pretty upset
That's
for
crazy.
sure. No,
Good on you though.
yeah,
Like
but yeah,
you have that fast reaction. Good on you. Like to like wake up and then to instantly turn on the fact that you know kind of what's happening, and then to thankfully it wasn't pitch black because he probably would have known.
right. It was
He
during,
just
yeah, it was during the
peeved.
daytime. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be able to see that. That would never have happened then. I would have been boom, and then I would have boom, 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 to a couple more of the face, and So,
How old were you at the time?
ah, I was in high school,
Okay.
so maybe like sophomore, junior year high school,
Okay. So how many earthquakes do you think you experienced then?
or like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say they weren't. It's not like they were
There's
like.
there's one out here that went off. I slept through it, but it was a very light one, and I live on the East Coast now, so
Yeah, yeah. I remember hearing about that one as well too. My
yeah.
family who lived near you there had wondered what the hell it was,
Y-
because there's a very old fault line that goes along that area. You know what I mean? So it's very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Now my other question to you now is there any natural disaster that you would want to witness? And obviously, we're going off of our prior episode, Moral Compass, and everyone, people. Um, if is there any natural disaster that you would want to witness where it's not like a major detriment to you or other people, i.e., a hurricane, a tornado, a volcano exploding? You know what I mean? Like, is there something that you would want to like just to see like nature's blind fury? Is there anything that you would want to witness?
I'd like to see a dust storm, like a sandstorm.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that'd be sweet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not gonna hurt anybody as long as you like can cover yourself up to be out in it, and goggles and stuff like that. I mean, but I think that'd be sweet. Just a just giant storm where you just can't see anything.
It just blocks out
Like
the
I can't
sun.
even.
All
Yeah,
daytime
just
turns to
blocks up the
night.
sun. Yeah, just gone.
Okay.
I think that's kind of neat. Like a neat idea. Tornadoes, volcanoes going off, or hurricanes, stuff like that. Um, doesn't scare me. Earthquakes really doesn't scare me really too much at all. I don't want to see those because there is a higher risk with those ones than anything else, and plus the natural disaster, the amount of damage that they do. I think I wouldn't want to like gain from something that's destroying so much. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
Of
yeah.
other people's lives. So,
Okay.
the one natural disaster that does freak the shit out of me though is like tsunamis,
Yeah. Yeah.
giant tidal waves, dude. I mean, I just imagine like 100-foot tidal wave coming in. Like you're standing there in the city, and you see a 100-foot tidal wave coming towards you. Like, what are you gonna do, dude?
Yeah. Nothing. You literally
What
can't
do you
do.
do? What do you do?
You're gonna drown.
You know,
You're gonna
you're
die.
gonna. I mean, you're probably gonna get mushed before you even drown,
Yeah,
though, because the
yeah.
amount
If
of
it's going
force that's
fast,
coming towards
yeah,
you.
you'll be
And then
smushed
you're gonna
against
be
something.
slammed in the buildings, and maybe a car on
Vehicles.
top of you. Like I mean, that's if you live the initial impact of the water hitting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. That's just craziness to me, though.
There's a video that really resonates with me about that, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. But there was the there was the tsunami that happened. I think it was in 2004 in like it was like in India or Indonesia or whatever. That was wildly documented, and one of the most popular
Yeah.
videos of that is this guy who didn't know that there was a tsunami, and he had wandered out far into the beach where the water had been sucked away, and he was just standing out there by himself, and they were filming him as the waves came in and just made him disappear. And he was just standing away.
Yeah.
He wasn't walking, he wasn't doing anything. He literally just turned his back to it, and that was it. And obviously, the situation like that, like he's meeting the first initial very high force of water, like obviously the chances, I don't think he survived, but like that, like realizing that you're caught in the middle of a beach with hundreds of thousands of gallons of water coming at you at a severe pace. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough thing to swallow. Now I'll branch off of that. Like I agree. I probably wouldn't want to see a hurricane because a hurricane does cause you, no matter where you are, mass amounts of damage. I really would like to see a tornado. A tornado though that is in a remote area. Like so I've
Like a
always
dust devil, I'd probably be more better
yeah,
okay with.
sure,
I'd
but
say like a smaller dust devil.
I would love to watch a tornado that is, say in the middle of the farmlands in the middle of the United States where there's nothing around but the farmland. There is no animals, there's no houses, no structures, and it is just a silent rolling tornado going through that area for maybe a mile or two. That's I just it's amazing. I always think about it this way. Amazing to me how nature can do these things on our planet. And even still to this day, we don't have a major understanding of we understand, but not to the complex level as to why hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff occur. Obviously, earthquakes are a little bit more straightforward, same with volcanoes. But like nowadays, it's like these things are getting worse and worse and worse. You see time and time again, we're constantly breaking the records of the most powerful, like that hurricane that happened about 2 months ago that was out in the Atlantic Ocean set the record for the level of pressure that it produced in the hurricane. Now, thank God, it was one of those ones where it never came. The Gulf Stream intercepted it. It never came to shore. There was a little bit of rain that happened along the coast, like along South Carolina, North Carolina, and stuff, but it never hit, and it went right out into the ocean and dissipated. And thank God, because that's one of those ones there where that's where millions of lives. So, like I said, I understand the complexity of a hurricane and how much it can produce damage. I don't want to go down there and be a spectator or tourist of that. I don't want to be a spectator or tourist of that. You know what I mean? But like a tornado that's in
Yeah.
an area that isn't causing anything, a volcano that is in an area like one that's on an island by itself that's exploding. Those natural
Yeah.
wonders just blow my mind that they can occur, and yeah, just it's definitely on my bucket list. I would say to that. So
I always thought tornadoes were pretty decently studied, though. I mean, I understand like the mechanisms for why they occur and how they touch down and everything.
correct, but like the biggest issue right now is studying the internal vortices of a tornado because you can't just that's why there's so many like chasers and stuff who try to get probes into these tornadoes with rockets or parachutes or or sensors or what have you, because the complexity of the vortices in the tornado is still yet to be studied or known. Like there's very little things that people have been able to find about them, you know what I mean? So that's
Like, what
that's
about it? Like the pressure variation within it, or
or the intensity, like in a tornado, is obviously you can tell like the winds on the outside. Obviously the very internal core is your fastest spinning winds, but how fast are they spinning? Each tornado is different. Is it a winding coiled tornado that's coming out of the clouds and kind of winding its way down to the ground? Is it a 2 mile wedge tornado that is literally what is the highest speed of that wind in that you know what I mean? Those tornadoes that wipe a house literally to a flat slate of concrete, what is the max velocity of those winds recorded? You know what I mean? So that's the study of that, is I think what is still yet to be kind of, it's far out there still, so
I think like a way to determine I mean, I guess we can say what levels of the tornadoes are going to be when they touch down and go through an area, but to like classify a tornado fully, you know what I mean? Because you could obviously, if you're living in Tornado Alley, you can buy a home that's like, oh, this home is proof up until like 500-mile-per-hour winds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like whatever classification tornado that is going through it. I mean, is there? I'd assume there's probably not a very good way to figure out, other than just standard like satellite imagery and whatnot, how fast the tornado is actually going to go, or how fast it could potentially get once it travels on land.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do know tornadoes travel faster and grow longer over water. That's why that's how you get hurricanes over water rather than on land. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, interesting. I mean, tornadoes they're definitely super interesting to me for sure, 100%. My biggest thing is like, would it be possible to disrupt a tornado by setting off like a missile, like an airburst missile in the center of it?
See, I don't know if
like detonating a bomb in the center of the tornado. Would that have enough force? I mean, obviously you'd have to have a bomb with a proportional size, like an explosion size, a detonation circle that would expand beyond the parameter of the interior eye of the tornado itself.
Yeah.
So it'd have to go beyond that to be able to push that air out. But I mean, would that be enough to actually like dissipate a tornado then?
No,
you know what
see,
I mean?
I would say no. And the reason because of that is obviously we know tornadoes, you have your hot and your cold air spinning and collecting into each other, and that's where you get your. So in order to stop a tornado, you need to disrupt that. If you just put a rocket, like say halfway up on a tornado, it's just sure are you immediately dissipating that tornado that's right there right now? Yeah, but it's as long as it's a strong enough supercell, it's going to carry on a little bit and then just touch right back down. You know what I mean? Like it's going to, as long as that.
Right, but is that heat that's generated from the explosion, depending on the height of it, would that also reach up in the atmosphere and disturb the balance of the hot and cold air that's creating that tornado as well?
Same thing, I think, for maybe a short period of time, but if there's a good enough inflow of cold air and hot air mixing together, you're eventually going to reach that again. You know what I mean? Like you're going to reach, like when you get a really good supercell.
And you just fucking bomb it again, dude.
You just keep bombing.
You just keep bombing the tornado, boom, boom, and as it like grows and like is about to touch down, boom, bomb it, and it stops a little bit. Then like maybe 15 minutes later, it goes to touchdown, and boom, bomb it again. Like another half hour, boom, bomb it again, and it's gone. No tornadoes.
Nobody cares.
See, dude, I just solved tornadoes, dude.
But nobody cares about the fact that now there's like scattered pieces of rockets all over these people's farmland.
Hey, dude, I would rather have rocket debris on my land than no land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have a piece of a rocket fall through my house and just damage a small section of it, rather than have no house.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I can agree with that. I think there's ways to disrupt it. I know that there's ways of, seeding clouds in a way that maybe you could seed a cloud in front of a supercell that is a predominantly warm cloud that could suck itself into the supercell and then cause a disruption.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think. Don't clip that, people.
It's clips, dude. I guarantee you that.
I think,
especially now that you said it, you thought you made them think of it, dude.
I think there's a way to disrupt the flow for sure. I don't know if it's a powerful supercell. I don't know if it's strong. It was such an impulse move too. I regret that immediately.
Dude, that was good.
God, yeah. So that's what I think about. I think there's a way that you can definitely probably disrupt it. Yes, I'm trying to look away from you so I can't fucking see you on the camera.
Yep.
Oh man,
I like that. That's a shorts video there.
Okay, so that's a good way, a good caveat to take a 90 on this episode for sure, considering it's spooky season. Oh god, it broke him. Oh god. All right, so considering it's spooky season, I have a question for you. Once you're collecting yourself,
go ahead. Go ahead. I can't look at you for a second. I can't look down.
Oh shit! What was your biggest takeaway from us going to Rolling Hills Asylum? I couldn't even finish it. Oh god, I couldn't even finish the sentence. What was your biggest takeaway from our time at Rolling Hills Asylum when we were over there?
Interesting. That's all. Interesting. I couldn't really get the evidence there. Like what we encountered was intriguing,
Yeah.
but not definitive, in my opinion.
Yep. Okay. I agree.
I'd say that the two best instances that we had was one that photo that my parents got
That was wild to me.
of that like white apparition of like a looked like maybe a little girl, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That one's probably the best, and then
What I love about that photo is that you couldn't disprove it. Like you went down there and took a photo with yourself, and even like tried to blur the. You couldn't you and this is what I love about you and I when it comes to the paranormal is we are skeptical at first, and I want to be proven right. Like I want,
right,
and
yeah,
if something happens that's not explainable, I want to try and test those things. You know, like when we were hunting with the other people that we were hunting with, it wasn't, you know, if something happened small, then it was immediately, oh my god, that's a spirit. Me, it's like, let's go figure
yeah.
out what the hell that was.
Let's see what the
Let's
knock is. A
figure
knock,
out, you know what I mean?
you know,
Exactly.
did that shadow move across the room? Was that actually because a vehicle drove by outside
Yeah.
casting a shadow? You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, so yeah, no, 100%. That one is definitely like we tried that and we were not able to mimic it. You know, so pretty cool. Um, um, the other evidence that I think was pretty neat that we had found was the EMF anomaly on the bed frame.
That was weird.
That was pretty interesting as well. So like along with that, we were in this room and we had some pretty interesting EMF readings, and it had like concentrated itself to like the edge of a bed frame, like so my bed right here, you can just barely see. Like so it was like right here on the bed. It's just sitting off to the side, and it was just the frame of the bed too. It wasn't like an actual bed on it. But the EMF was up all the way into the room, and then to that area. And then when we took the EMF reader around the rest of the room, it was all off or low, or very off. And we went back out to where it was reading before we let us into that room, and it was all low or off as well. We went back to that same spot on the bed frame. It was back up again, very high. I had the guys set the thing on because the bed frame is metal. So I told the guys, okay, let's set the EMF reader on the bed frame itself. Let's lift the bed frame up off the ground. Obviously, electricity, if it is traveling through the bed frame, it's going to set the EMF reader off, you know, or through the air that way. If we lift it, it's going to cut off the flow through that. Potentially, sure, it could travel through us, but, you know, traveling through us, through our shoes, because we were all wearing decently warm shoes because it was in the end of fall that we went there. So it would have to have like a pretty high end travel to make it through a resistance of the shoes like that, you know. So we lifted it up and it stayed the same. We set it back down. We changed the position of the bed, and it changed with the position of the bed as well. So it was just definitely, it was also interesting. Also, I would have liked to have been able to do a little bit more with that to like either debunk or disprove it, but obviously when like the little that we did, I wasn't able to find anything out about it, you know.
Very odd. For people who don't know, or if you're very new to the paranormal, EMF, electromagnetic field. So basically, what you have is a very sensitive piece of equipment that ranges your gauges. Ranges the gauge of EMF that you are currently experiencing. So for example, like if you hold it up to your cell phone or like my computer here or whatever, it's going to spike because you're giving off a lot of electric magnetic field. Now, in the paranormal side of things, it's said and documented that, if there's a spirit or something present from that world, that it tends to cause EMF readings. Now, like Drake said, this was in a building that had barely any running electricity. It had this area here was a completely shut down room, and this was just a metal bed frame. And for it to be giving off residual EMF, and this was probably like a, I'd say 75, 80-year-old bed frame. Like it was not a new bed frame. Like this is from that era that it would have been used, during the times that this place was active. Was extremely interesting to me. The other one I think, Drake, that I wanted to bring up that I wanted to touch on that I thought was very interesting was when we had all kind of came back together and we're kind of chatting about what we experienced, and we were up in the loft area where all of the quarters and stuff were for the nurses and doctors, and we just heard that one very loud bang that we could not figure out where it came from. Like it was just that one really loud.
Was that when I was under the Estes method when I had the earphones in?
No, this was we were all together. We had just like I think you and I had just came up from where did we come from? I don't remember where we came from, but like we had just met up with the other two groups and just kind of like collectively talking about what we wanted to do next. And there was just this loud bang up. We were up in like the third story, and there was just a loud bang in an area that we had no idea where this came from. And we all went down and investigated it and could not find or recreate anything that made that noise. And it was very interesting to me that that happened. Like it was very, like I said, one of those things where it was like, all right, let's go figure out what that was. And, it was a windier night. So it was, could have been something that was banging on the door or banging on. And then we went there, and there was no active
branch,
wind.
yeah.
There was no wind moving through the building up there. Like it was very weird experience. I didn't, and there was a lot of areas that like, they try and set the creepy vibe, and I just didn't like the morgue. It's like I didn't feel anything down there. I didn't feel anything near the kitchen. I didn't feel anything. I was a little bit weirded out on the ward areas, like where like they had like the tuberculosis ward and stuff, where they would like sit you out in the sunlight and stuff like that. Like I was kind of weirded out in that whole area, just because I think and obviously like the nighttime and the amount of doors and like the area that you're in, like it plays into your mind, but like just there was just a general sense of uneasiness in there for me that I felt, and it wasn't like like there was the portal room. It's like, okay, like I don't believe that.
I thought that was stupid. I was like, come on.
I don't believe in that stuff. Or like even when we were getting a tour, she's like, oh, you seen the guy move back there? It's like, no, don't play in like
yeah, no, he didn't.
Not, like let's not play into that. Like I genuinely wanted to experience stuff, you know what I mean? Like when in the kids' room, like I felt like so that was interesting to me when we that first night that we went, because we went 2 nights. One night we went with like kind of a group of people together, like
like a large group with other people and whatnot,
which kind of ruined it because there was like 25 people there that were all walking around. The second
so night, you hear something and you couldn't like, okay, was it somebody walking or was it not somebody walking? You couldn't tell like what it was. It was kind of like
the second night we did a lockdown, and I think it was from 11 o'clock to 3 in the morning. I think we did the lockdown for it. It was pretty late.
Maybe it was 10 to 3, I think.
10 to 3. So we did a lockdown for a while in there, and it was just 6 of us. So we just went in 2 groups.
Yeah, it was 10 to 3. It was 5 hours was a lockdown.
And that was that I preferred. That was very intimate. Everyone was able to break apart into different groups, and I think we ended up experiencing quite a bit more action just based off of like
it was better because we could rule out other people, from like things. I mean, that did remind me. There was something else weird that I did see. Was I went off with our buddy Doc, and we went into the fridge. Like they used to be the fridge rooms where like the food was and stuff. And we were like in there, and we shut the door inside it, and everyone hanging out. And Doc apparently said he's like and I was like, what's going on? And then like I turned my flashlight on and I looked and I saw like a water droplet fall from the top down. I was like, oh, did a piece of water like drop on your shoulder? He's like, no, something poked me. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, something poked me. And I looked over at his shirt and there was like nothing there. No, his skin wasn't red or anything. But he's like, yeah, something poked me. I was like, oh, weird. And I looked down to see where the water droplet had fallen and landed, and the ground was completely dry. I'm like, what? That's weird. Like I for sure saw a water droplet fall, And later on, I talked to the lady, and I'm like telling her, like, oh, yeah, this is something I just saw here. And she's like, oh, that's interesting, because that part of the ward had a big fire, and 3 guys died in the fire, and they had sprayed a bunch of water on the fire in that location to put it out. Oh, interesting. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then and one of the other was in the like the church section of that building as well. My parents were in there. My mom was sitting on my dad's lap, and they were talking. There was supposed to be a little girl also named Elizabeth inside there, and they were talking to her, asking her to come and come say hi if they wanted to, because apparently like that little girl liked talking to older women or whatnot there. So my mom and dad were talking to her, and then all of a sudden my mom's like, "Stop! Don't do that." My dad's like, "Don't do what?" She's like, "Don't touch my thigh like that." Right now, like, and he's like, "I'm not." He's just like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "My hands are right here in the sides. I haven't. I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you once." And she's like, "What? Something just touched my thigh." And so she's said something touched her right there. Where my dad says he didn't. So it's another thing that the two more things that could be interesting, but. I've never had a touch sensation happen to me.
Same.
Shirt tug, nothing like that. I Until that happens to me, I'm skeptical on that. I feel like it could be like a not a placebo effect, but like because that's not the right terminology for it, but like
It plays into your fear in your mind.
a mental stimuli that mind over matter. You know what I mean? Like
the issue
I'm in this
is
thing. I'm gonna get touched. Oh, I got touched.
you're hyper
Your
aware.
shirt
That's
changes on you. Yeah,
that
exactly. Yeah, yeah. You're hyper aware to the other sensations where you normally wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's what I agree with. You're hyper aware of the situation and like anything that happens, whereas right now I could have a ghost knocking on my back and I'd be like, man, I just have like this I have a spasm, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
even
itch. I got a weird
that's
itch. Yeah.
I'm not it's the mindset of where you are that plays into that fact. You know what I mean? Like you could easily
Yeah,
be getting touched
absolutely.
all the time from ghosts at your home. Yeah, you just might never know it, you know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? Like you could be
Yeah.
getting touched from ghosts all the time at your house. You know what I mean? You never know it when you're at an asylum and you're everything else. You're in the dark. Your sentences are heightened. You know what I mean? If you get you know what I mean, and sure,
Yeah.
it very well is possible that it could happen. But like you said, I'm very until I experience like a genuine like. You see people on like all of the paranormal websites or all the paranormal shows getting scratched and stuff. It's like until I experience that, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to say in a place, especially like an asylum like that where there's so much happening. I'll touch base on one of your points too. Drake actually brought us over to where that water droplet had fallen, and we spent and like I said, that's what we do. We disprove first. We spent a significant, probably about a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour, literally trying a bunch of different things to see if we could recreate that droplet, and we could not. We could not figure out. I think we had one of our guys was on their hands and knees like inspecting the floor for any sort of moisture, and then we were checking all the
Yeah.
cracks of like the area where the freezer was and like the upstairs, like even in the ceiling to just see if there was anything. The biggest thing too is like there had not been any precipitation recently, like throughout that time, so it wasn't like it was raining while we were there. I would have been more skeptical if it was raining while we were there, to be like Drake,
Right. Leak.
maybe they made it
Yeah.
in somewhere,
Absolutely.
So it's an old building, but we just couldn't figure it out. We just had no idea what it was.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's. I mean, those are two interesting things there from Rolling Hills at all.
Um,
So, I mean, obviously, so let's. What is your single most best ghost experience? Obviously, because both you and I, we want to believe in ghosts.
yeah,
You know, I say I believe in ghosts. I say I do now, even though I haven't like found definitive proof for me yet that ghosts do exist. I mean,
yeah,
I like saying I want to believe is a better, I think, nomenclature for that,
yeah.
for sure. But I think you feel the same. What would you say is your best evidence for a ghost?
So I've got two things that happened to me that freaked me like bone chilling, and I'm actually getting I'm literally getting goosebumps again talking. I'm not even kidding you. I'm getting chills. Um, Two things that happened that freaked me out. The first one had to do with a close relative passing, and she was a very, very important to me. Meant a lot to me. Was actually my godmother. Um, and a couple days after she had passed, oh, dude, my body is literally like it's crazy when you talk about this stuff, and you kind of feel that. Couple days after she had passed, I was driving. I don't know where I was going. Maybe I was still in school, so I don't know. Maybe I was just going to get gas or something. But the car was quiet. I was just driving at the time I had a Jeep Cherokee, so there's a little bit more of a back area space in the back of the trunk there for everything. And I heard her laugh. I heard her laugh. I heard her very distinct giggle that she always did, and it happened in the back of my vehicle, and it actually made me like I heard it. and one of those things. Like I said, you and I, how we are skeptical. I actually opened up the back trunk to be like, okay, maybe I had like a tool or something in the back there that rolled and made a noise or whatever. The back of my trunk was empty, completely empty. Like there was nothing back there at all. Like I think there was maybe a jug of antifreeze or something like that because my car at the time leaked. But she laughed. Like she laughed, and that was like 2 to 3 days after she had passed, and it just like it wasn't even, and this is what a lot of people say too. It wasn't like boo, ooh, scary. It was like a warm feeling. It was like
Yeah.
you felt
Yeah.
good about it happening. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay, I'm gonna miss her. I love her so much. She's gone, but you heard that distinct laugh one last time. So that was very interesting to me. The other one though is a little bit more chilling and it kind of freaked me out. Actually, made me kind of investigate our home while while I made sure everyone was safe, made sure that my wife was safe at the time. We were we had woken up when we were living in our before where we live now. We had woken up. We were in our apartment, which is actually my brother-in-law's basement. So we were in our apartment there, and I had always had a weird feeling about that for some reason. Their basement over there, like it just gives me an un just one of those areas, right? Like you feel very uh
Uneasy.
uneasy. Exactly. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Very uneasy. Just no matter whenever I go, even when we go over there now, when we go downstairs, if I have to go downstairs to use the restroom, I have that feeling. But we were lived down there for 2 years, and there were many times where we had small instances where things happened. You know, one time I came out of the shower because I thought that she was yelling my name, and I like run out of the shower thinking that she's like fighting someone, and like literally like fighting someone like in our room or in our house that someone broke it into. No, she's like sitting on the couch looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, and I'm like I heard her screaming in the shower like while I was in the shower. Now once again,
That one right there, Luke. That one. So like, whenever I'm talking about ghosts or whatever, and like something, I'm gonna say like something genuine that somebody experienced, like says they're talking about it. Like I'll get like watery eyed.
Yeah,
I'll get like what, and like when you said that right there, that you had gotten out of the shower because you heard Dana calling your name, um, that got you, that got me watery eyed there for just like a split second. I was
yeah,
like, that's like that was like it's like a little like weird sixth sense or something. I don't know, or maybe it's just because again, like I have like a decent amount of empathy here, but like maybe I felt for you in that instance and how you felt coming out of there, and that's why it made me teary eyed. But I mean, in like high stress scenarios, I don't ever cry or get teary eyed, so I don't know why I would get teary eyed in like like living through a high stress scenario in like somebody else's shoes. You
yeah.
know what I
No,
mean?
like
So like I've always equated like whenever I get teary eyed to like somebody's, and it's mostly ghost stories that I get teary eyed to. So
interesting.
I feel like it was like I feel like it's like a sixth sense. It's like a story is true, or like yeah, like this was a ghost encounter you experienced,
Yeah,
And I actually have one of our other friends, Doc, Doc as well, also gets that way, and he kind of explained it to me like perfectly verbatim without me even saying that at all before, So that's how
yeah.
I kind of know. It's like, oh, weird. That's like a shared an intuition, I can
Yeah.
say,
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
And that wasn't even. I just remembered that one as I was talking because I was like going through my like
yeah.
Rolodex in my mind of all the ones that blew my mind. That one there got me because like I'm literally like what your response when that's happening is I need to address the situation. So I'm not even toweling off. I'm literally dripping water, fully nude, standing in our living room. Like
That just reminded me of the time here in my apartment
with all
with
right. Let's
you,
let's
myself,
let's go to that
Doc,
next.
and your wife there.
Yeah,
Then
let me finish the
that
story of
just
this.
reminded me of that.
We'll go
Yeah,
to that one next because that one fucking blows my mind. That one will go up to next. So the craziest one, which isn't even me screaming about like hearing her screaming while I'm in the shower. I come out in the morning and like I'm a morning person. I wake up usually before her quite a bit. Even like during COVID, I was unemployed, so like I would get up and like make a coffee at 7 a.m. Like I was gonna, have breakfast and stuff. I woke up and like our my brother-in-law, like our upstairs, like they were very good at never coming down without permission. They were always, hey, we're coming down to do laundry. Hey, we're gonna come down and hang out. Hey, like they never came down without permission. And most of the time we would lock our door, like so that nobody could come in. Like we were on the side door, so like that door was always locked, and then they would lock their door, and then we would just have the landing coming down to our apartment. I woke up in the morning and I immediately go into the kitchen to make a coffee, and I scream to Dana because she was like just getting up and like kind of following me out or whatever. Close the fucking door until I come back in, because I had turned into the corner of the kitchen and every single cupboard and every single drawer was open, wide open, complete like, and I immediately like same thing, getting chills right now talking about it. Immediately,
Yep, I just got watery eyed again.
immediately went through, and so just off the kitchen is the laundry room. Immediately went into the laundry room to look and try to check everything out in there, and I'm like sidestepping the corners, like seeing like if there's anyone that's trying to fuck with me, and then like it's a small apartment, so the next thing I got to do is go into the bathroom, and I go into the bathroom and I fucking check the bathroom, make sure there's nobody, pull the curtain back behind the shower forcefully,
Yep.
you know what I mean, and then I call her back out, and then we touch base with my brother-in-law and his wife, and we're like, did you guys come down here, like, are you fucking with us, whatever? And he's like, no, why, what's up, like we didn't do anything. And like I showed Dana, I'm like look at this, look at this, like look at what happened. And yeah, it was just a wild situation that I felt very uncomfortable with, and like we had trouble sleeping for the next couple of nights because of that, because it's like
Sure.
you're expecting, to even to hear that stuff, you know what I mean? It's like I think I actually
Yeah.
I'm not even joking you. I think I set up a trail camera for the next couple of nights, like in my, like on the counter in my um kitchen, just to like have that show if there's any pictures or anything that shows up. Like I had a trail camera that I set out for that amount of time. Like it's
Yeah, and you
really
caught a
wild.
deer. That was weird.
Yeah, it's just an 8-point buck just opening my cabinet.
Yeah, just hanging out,
You bastard.
just looking for corn and shit. I wipe my eyes. Yeah, dude. Is that like, yeah, that's wild. But
Freak me out.
yeah, so that story that I had remembered from Luke coming out of the bathroom in
dude.
like a rush. So it was here at this very apartment right here. It was myself, our friend Doc. It was here again. It was Luke and his wife. And we were just watching some funny funny episodes on YouTube. We always do like a try not to laugh challenge and watch some funny videos. It's just a stellar time.
Yep.
And so we just got winding down from doing that, and we were all tired now and whatnot. So then we were all taking a turn using the restroom, and Luke goes in the restroom to like take a shower and like brush his teeth and all that jazz, and not wash his hands, and then come back out. And and all of a sudden, like we're sitting in my living room, and like my living room is here, and that's like a hallway into the bathroom, and then beyond the hallway is my bedroom, and we're sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden we hear like the best way I can explain it is like a scuffle happening, like some like banging, as if like two people are like in close proximity fighting with each other, like wrestling each other, like in the bathroom, like banging, and like dun, 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 like hitting walls and stuff like that, and just giant scuffle. And then like I turn and look down the hallway, and then Doc like sits up on the, because he's falling asleep on the couch, and he sits up and looks down the hallway, and his wife comes out of the room, like, because I have like a spare den that we can put a sheet up to like make it an individual room there. She comes out of the room and like looks around the corner of the hallway too, and then here comes Luke walking out with his towel just around himself, and he's like looking at all of us like, what's going on? And we're like, dude, like, what the fuck? Did you fall? Are you okay? Like, what happened? And like we were just in so much like disbelief, like, and Luke was just not, in our eyes, Luke was just like not really like answering us at all, or like saying what happened, and he just kept saying like what, tell us like your experience, like what it was coming out, and just having us like just stare at you and like question you, like what's going on. So the entire time.
So we were staying at Drake's house visiting for a week or two, and so I didn't. So that part of that story that I think is wrong from what I remember is because it was such a quick amount of time. I didn't shower. I used the restroom. I washed my hands. I used the restroom. I washed my hands, and I took a leak. I literally peed, and this is what freaks me out the most about this story. I peed, washed my hands, and I brushed my teeth, and then I literally that was it. My pajamas and stuff were I almost said jammies on fucking the podcast. My pajamas were in the den room that we were staying in, so I didn't even have, you know what I mean. So I was gonna go there and get changed. So what scared me the most is when I came out of that room, I had, first of all, a really peaceful piss, nothing out of the ordinary there. Washed my hands, no issues, and then I brushed my teeth all while like scrolling on my phone. Nothing at all happened. I come out of the room and everyone's face looking at me scared me so much because I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I had no idea what any of you guys were talking about. Like and what scares me the most about that is that it genuinely felt like there was like a rift in either a rift in time or like a rift in another dimension where that did happen in there and you guys heard it from there, because for me it was like peaceful. It was serenity. It was nothing. But the intensity that you guys had met me with when I came out of the hallway scared the fuck out of me, because I'm like, dude, no, nothing. What are you guys talking about? Like, I thought I was being pranked. Like, that's how we would usually prank each other, is that kind of shit. But like, it was genuinely wild that you guys. I wish there was a way that I could hear what you guys heard.
Yeah.
From
to
the
this
other
day,
side.
never heard it again.
Like,
never heard it again to this day.
Weird. And like you and Doc are a lot like fight or flight, like figure out what's, and like,
yeah,
you know, and like you guys were like you said, like you guys, especially I think Doc was like ready to go and like was like,
yeah.
No guys, like everything's fine. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an unexplainable thing happened, and like I think you ended up going and checking the bathroom, and I'm like, dude,
yeah, no, instantly,
I didn't do anything. Like you're good. Like, yeah, like that was such a weird his apartment. It freaks me out. I stayed at his apartment for a couple of months here and there throughout the time of like when I was laid off during COVID. I would come and stay with him and stuff like that, and like his apartment definitely just has such a weird energy to it that it you know, there's a lot of things that I think happen that like it's hard to put, you know, to articulate the feeling that it gives, I think.
Yeah, like the best one for me, for this apartment wise, is that I had woken up one day and used the bathroom in the morning. You know, left the house, went to go eat, did some shopping, came back, laid down on my couch, and just watched TV. And then it was like, you know, probably I probably got up, you know, left my home around 9, you know, didn't get back to like 3, and then was like watching the TV until like 5, and then all of a sudden like I hear like something fall over. I'm like, what the fuck was that? So I get up and go like down the hall, and I go into my bedroom and I look and stuff in my bedroom, and everything looks fine. Nothing's like out of place. Nothing seems fallen over. Nothing like that. Then I go and I look in the bathroom, and everything seems fine and normal in the bathroom as well. So I'm like, that's super freaking weird. Then I go back down on the couch and I lay down, and you know, I watch some more TV, and I'm falling asleep until the next morning. So I woke up the next morning and I go into the bathroom to like brush my teeth and everything to get ready in the morning, and I notice that my plunger, which is set next to the toilet on the right hand side. So my toilet paper is on the left hand side, and I believe the handle of flush is on the left hand side as well. And the plunger is the only thing that's on the right hand side, and it's after the toilet is the countertop with the sink, and the sink is across the other side of the countertop. So there's really no reason to like dabble between the toilet and the countertop. There's no reason to hang out there, you know. And the plunger is like tucked back in against the wall even, so it's not like you can just bump it with your elbow and you're sitting on there taking a shit, you know. And besides, I didn't take a shit that day anyways, you know. I mean, I did at the restaurant, but I didn't at home. You know what I mean? The whole point of this thing is that I didn't use the bathroom since the morning till like the next morning. You know, I fell asleep. I didn't go back in and brush my teeth or anything besides just looking to see what it was. You know, because I wasn't planning on sleeping on the couch. You know, obviously, but you know, so and I look, and the plunger had fallen over, and so I picked it up and I pushed it over again, and it made the exact noise that I heard the other night from it falling. So it was 100% the toilet plunger tipped over. I set it back up. It's got like a little base thing that it sits in. If I tip it like at like close to like a 45-degree angle, it tips back. Every
Yeah.
single time I've tried it, I tried tipping it at about a 45-degree angle, it tips back. So you have to tip it beyond a 45
And
degree
it,
angle
it
to get
doesn't
it to actually forward fall.
it doesn't make that noise when it tips back though, right? It's only when it hits the ground.
No, it only when it hits the ground because it's the wooden handle of the plunger tapping against
Yeah.
the tile flooring.
And
You know,
ladies
um,
and gentlemen, he's really detail oriented. So if that happened the first time that night, he would have picked up and noticed it. Like when Drake very well knows like when things are out of place. Like I promise you that. So like for that fact of it like tipping over and falling over, if it would have happened right when he heard the noise and he went and inspected, he would have seen that. So what freaks me out is that it fell over and then somehow made its way back upright.
right? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was. It never happened again since. So it's kind of like just one of those things that it's just the one time. I have a bunch of others that are like along that same level that are very hard for me to disprove.
Yeah.
You know,
The two that I
that are
like the
just very
most,
strange, very weird.
the two that I like the most that still like I had chills just thinking about them as I was getting ready to tell you these. The Razor,
Mm,
and then the night where you called me and you had to
yeah,
stay at your
dude.
parents' house. And while you
Yeah,
cleared your like I have full chills that night. I was
yeah.
absolutely terrified and
So
I oh,
the razor, I'll tell these two as well.
we got
So the
time. Yeah, we
razor
got time
again
left.
was this apartment again. I was just moving in. I have a Gillette razor that you press a button on and it starts to vibrate, so you can give you a nice clean shave on your face and whatnot. And I take that. I don't ever use the button. I don't use it
I
because
wish
it's
you would
a
have just said
stupid
I wish
cheap
you'd have just said
gimmick.
your
You know,
balls there, like a nice clean shave
you're
of
right.
your balls.
Nice clean shave of new balls. Um, and so I'm moving a bunch of stuff over, and I bring a bunch of my toiletries over and whatnot. And I put it all away, and I put everything away, and I go into my bedroom, and I'm organizing and putting shit away in my bedroom, and then all of a sudden I hear like a buzzing noise just start up. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like listening. I'm like, oh, it's not coming from my bedroom. So I walk out to the hallway, and it's definitely coming from my bathroom. So I walk into the bathroom, and like my first thought was, oh no, is it the upstairs neighbors? Are they fucking like gonna be super loud? Is this something I'm gonna have to deal with on like something that they're doing in the bathroom? And I'm listening, and it's like, no, it's not coming from in there. It's not coming like listening a little bit more, and so like I have my mirror in my bathroom is actually you can push it and it opens up, and there's like a shelving behind it, so it's like a medicine cabinet essentially, and I'm listening more, and it's coming from behind the mirror. Now, earlier when I put that stuff away, I took my razor and I put it behind the mirror and shut the mirror. And this was probably like a good 2 hours before when I put this stuff away and I go to my bedroom and I'm doing stuff in my bedroom. It's probably been 2 hours, I'd say. And I open up the mirror, and as soon as I press it in, it opens up kind of further than normal because you press it and it kind of just pops out. Then you can pull it open because it's on like a little magnet. But I press it and it like opens up like a bit, and then that razor like vibrates and falls over into the kitchen sink. I'm looking at it as it's vibrating, pick it up and I turn it off. Then I open my drawer and put it in the drawer instead and put it away. And never has it turned on since. It never turned on beforehand when I had it before at the other house I was living at,
Yeah.
and it hasn't turned on since.
Yeah, it's not like it was defective.
You know, like that. Yeah, it's not like it was defective. It's not like a weird. It was that was just that one thing. And then the last one he was talking about, where actually I like. No, typically when ghost stuff happens, I'm right there. I'm into it. I can go by myself and this stuff and do this and that, no problem.
Like that previous story that you just said, then that's why we're best friends. And the one thing I love about that story is you didn't go to it. You didn't go. The razor going off didn't creep you out or didn't make you scared. The first thing that you went to, which is what I would have went to, was the dread of someone inconveniencing me, and that's what you went. You're like, fuck this, you know what I mean? Like that's why I love that. Like, you know, it wasn't about paranormal. It was I have to fucking deal with these people. You know what I mean? So like that's that's what
exactly.
I love about that story is like, oh fuck, I gotta fucking deal with these people. But it wasn't. Yeah, all right, sorry, you just had to bring that up.
Yes. So this one, yeah. Again, I go in haunted places by myself. No problem. Like I have no problem. I've gone out hiking in the woods by myself for five nights and 6 days. Like I do these things. No problem. You know.
This may be the only time, ladies and gentlemen, too, that I'll have a caveat to this while I while he tells the story. And think about this. This may be one of two times in our like 30 years of friendship that I've heard Drake genuinely shook up. Like he is a very even keeled, very grounded person. This was literally, I had never heard panic in Drake before, like I had this night.
Yeah. So I'm in my apartment by myself. I was out all day again, eating and shopping or whatever else I wanted to do. Came home, was just watching the TV a bunch, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower and then brush my teeth and all that shit and go to bed. So I go in the shower, I turn the shower on, and I take cold showers. So it's the shower's turned on, but it's cold, so it doesn't need time to heat up or anything like that. I fully undress, and I'm sitting on the toilet to use the restroom before I jump in the shower. Because no, I mean, you're not going to use the restroom after you jump in the shower. You just cleaned yourself, and you're going to re-dirty yourself again. You know, like, come on.
That sucks when you have to go to the bathroom after a shower, though.
Fully naked. Yeah, no, that is kind of shitty. But fully naked, doors open to my bathroom. I'm kind of sitting there, and the only view from like the door from my bathroom goes straight against the hallway door, and that's it. Straight against the hallway wall, and that's it. You can't see to the right, you can't see to the left at all. So I'm sitting there taking a crap on the toilet, and then all of a sudden I see like, and I'm getting chills right now as I talk about this. All of a sudden I see an object fly like from the right hand side of like from the hallway to the left to like into my bedroom, and it was like somebody had done like an underhand toss, like perfect, like just straight across. And as soon as I'm looking at my phone, listening to stuff, the shower's on, running, and all of a sudden I see that, boom, like I'm looking at my phone, the door's right here, and I see it shoot across. Instantly grab my door and shut it and lock it instantly. And I'm like, oh fuck, my clothes are out in my bedroom. I just walked in so I'm naked in here. Somebody's in my fucking house.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck. Like I stop, I listen. And I stop the shower and I listen some more, and I don't hear anything. And I try to like look underneath the door crack, and I'm looking to see if I can see like shadow movement from the light or something like that, and nothing, just still and quiet. And it's probably been like 15 minutes now at this point that I'm sitting in there waiting. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get out, just grab something and just get out of I'm gonna jump into my room first, lock the door, shut the door, and I have objects in here that I can defend myself with. So I'm gonna jump in my room first, get dressed, get something that I can defend myself, and then I'm gonna get and check the rest of my house out. So I'm like, 1, 2, 3, unlock the door, swift motion, perfectly in my bedroom, shut the door, lock it, then I go to clear my bedroom. It's not that hard to see, just a quick high jump peek over the other side of my bed to see if somebody's laying on this side, because my door's over here to the right of me. Peek, look, nobody's in there. I have a closet. Grab one of my protection devices, and I go ahead and sweep the closet quickly. Nobody's inside the closet. Okay, I'm good. I now get dressed with an ear to the door still as I'm listening. I open up a window just in case, and I look outside the window just to try to see if there's anything weird outside, out of the ordinary from the home as well. Any cars that I don't notice or anything like that. I look outside there, clear that, open the window up, so if I need to actually go outside through the window, if I do open the door and I do see something strange, I can bounce out through the window without having to, because obviously nothing in here is worth defending for me. No. My life is worth defending, but if I can get my life out of there without even putting myself in like a dangerous scenario, I'm going to absolutely choose that every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was my secondary escape plan. But I'm like, I do want to clear my house because
you're not sleeping that night.
I live here. Yeah. So I get my protection device and I go ahead and I start doing a clear sweep of my entire home, and it's perfectly nothing. Nobody. All doors are locked. All blinds are shut. All windows are shut. Nothing was there.
Now, see, I thought that you had said
nothing.
When did you call me? I remember. When did you call me in the bathroom?
Well, now is the point. No, I called you after I left. I called you as I was walking.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, that was the point that I got freaked the fuck out. Because my first thought was somebody threw something across the hall, across the door. They knew I was in the bathroom. They threw something across the door to just to fuck me, like to fuck me up mentally. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna either they want to do something to me. Because if they were home invaders and they wanted to steal stuff, they were like, "Oh shit, somebody's in the shower."
Yeah. You gotta
You know,
subdue.
maybe we leave, or maybe we got to subdue him and whatever. Obviously, they're gonna try to subdue me without me knowing that they're there because that gives them a better chance. You
Yeah.
know, no, you know, unless their intent is to do something bad to me
Yeah.
and they want to inflict as much mental stress on me as possible, then they're not going to make themselves known beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and also I had my cell phone on me, so I could have just called 911, and I probably should have just called 911, but you know, I didn't because I didn't know
Well,
the scenario.
you start to play in your mind like, did I actually see something? Like you start to like almost second
Right,
guess yourself for everything.
right.
See, I thought in this story that you had mentioned that like I thought that your front door was open or it was unlocked, and that's what you were also freaked out about.
No, no. So it was all
Okay.
locked.
Okay.
So I at that moment, I'm gone
Yeah.
out of the house, gone. I walked into my parents' house, knock on their door, ring their doorbell because they don't answer. They don't answer any of their phone calls. I'm like, man, I'm fucking out of my mind right now. I
Yeah.
was not
He was
expecting this to
panicking.
happen.
Yeah.
I called Luke. I'm like, dude, I just gotta talk to you for a sec, just to like calm my nerves and shit.
Yeah.
I go to my grandpa's house, and I like spend the night there at my grandpa's house for the night. Luckily,
And then
both
and
my
then you
parents and
called.
my grandpa
Okay.
live close.
I think I remember you because you called me again when you went back into the house and you were like, "I'm gonna
Yeah.
engage it again. I want you to stay on the phone while I go through this
Yep.
again, just in case I missed something the first time." That's what I remember
Yep.
was the second phone call where
Yep.
whether it was the next morning. I thought you went back there. So I thought during the time of you leaving your parents' house, I thought you went back to your house to grab something or to get something quick, and then you went back to your grandpa's. I thought that phone call happened because you had said that you went back to your like I thought you called me again and we stayed on the phone while you went back into your house to get something and then you left right away to go to your grandpa's. So you went to your parents, then back to your house, and then back to your grandpa's again. And we were on the phone pretty much that entire time. I think we were on the phone for almost 3 hours. Like I think we were on the phone
It
for
was a
a pretty long
while.
time.
Um, Maybe my recollection is that I just went to my grandpa's, spent the night, and then came back the next morning.
Okay, maybe that was a phone call that I'm remembering. I just remember that
Yeah, because I did
remember
call you
that.
when I went back to the house
Yeah, I remember that I
because I
stayed on the
stayed on
phone
the
with
phone
you
with
when you
you as I
cleared, but
cleared.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were fucking shook, and as anyone would be, and this is what I think is most fucked up about that story because I'm getting chills about it right now talking about it. What I think is most fucked up about that story is even if it was something paranormal, is that it chose your literal most
Vulnerable.
vulnerable time. You couldn't hear because the shower was going on. You literally probably hadn't wiped yet, so you're literally sitting there, basically finishing up. You're not
Yeah,
wearing any
poopy ass.
clothes. You're not
You
wearing.
know.
You haven't gotten clothes. There's no clothes in there for you to get out to get dressed. You know what I mean? You are at your most
Yeah.
vulnerable state, and then they chose that time to say, "Hey, here's a." And what's
Here we
crazy?
are.
What's crazier too is I think I remember you saying on the phone the next morning is you went and looked for what it could have been, and there was
Yeah,
nothing that
that's what
you
I did.
found.
Well, I did find it the
Oh,
next morning. So it took me a while to find it, but I found it. So in my hallway, I have a light, and it's got like a glass
yes, you said
like
that.
dome over
Yes,
top of the light.
yes.
And so I go back and I look, and I found it under my couch. It was a piece of the glass of the dome light. So it was held on by three prongs, and it just so happened there's a prong that's facing directly down my hallway towards my bedroom door. That was the piece of glass that prong is stuck into was broken from the top, and it's tilted to the side now because it's only held in by the other two prongs. So my like what happened, and I can't like I haven't gone to school for physics, but I study physics. I have like multiple physics textbooks, and I have physics like apps and stuff that I study because I'm interested in physics. It doesn't make sense to me physics wise. Like what the only thing that could have happened is something caused the dome, the glass in that dome to break, whether it was pre-cracked or just over time. The person upstairs walked and it caused vibration to break it. Maybe because the shower was cold and the air was hot. The cold air from the shower drifted over and caused the glass to freeze a little bit, get colder while the hot air there, and it broke. And I don't know, but it had to have broke, and the trajectory just doesn't make sense though because it's on the ceiling. If it broke and it had shot off just from like the of it breaking violently, it would have gone from like a high to a low past the door, into my bedroom. But it didn't. It went like level to like waist height, like straight across. And then if it fell first and then bounced across the door, it should have had like an upward and a downward arc. Even if it was like a very wide bounce, it should still always have like the center point where of its arc would be. Even if it was like at the front of the door, it would always be lower on the other side, or if it was lower here. So it should have had an arc to it,
and
no matter what,
Still,
and it didn't.
The distance and the bounce of that from there.
Yeah, and exactly the distance and the bounce, because it went
in. It would not have had the energy.
Into my bedroom far.
It would not have
had it went into my bedroom like almost. So from the chandelier to like my bathroom door is probably 4 feet. And then from like the bathroom door into where I found that piece, it was probably another like 10 to 12 feet.
Yeah,
like it went far into my bedroom.
Yeah.
And it like
the level of
everything.
The energy that needs for that to go do that is pretty wild.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, very very weird. But I found that thing, and that's what it was. Was it broke and it just had to have the perfect bounce and trajectory and potential energy that had been stored up within it, that it just broke and it flew off at a perfect like 2.5 feet, like maybe even 3 feet height, flat, straight across my, like it's literally an underhand throw. Somebody did an underhand throw across it,
like said,
from the hallway.
That's one of those ones where it's like it's so hard to even understand how that circumstances like that, like how all of those circumstances can lead up to that happening, that it's so difficult to even understand.
Right. And because I'm so into physics, like I'm a nerd. I take Marvel movies, guys. I take Marvel movies. I take scenes from Marvel movies, and I do trigonometry and calculus and algebra to figure out angles and everything, to figure out how fast objects are traveling, or the distance that an object have traveled, or the amount of force that was put into an object to move it, based on that to characterize or create feats for characters that I can then use to debate against other characters on a nerd website. That's what I do. So I'm like, I can figure out how that fucking fell and flew across my room, and it doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense, dude. Yeah. So like, I that's probably, that was like the one time that I was actually just like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. That was.
I haven't heard you panic too many times in your life, and that was something that genuinely, like, I was scared and wanted to help in any way that I could, and I know that I just had to be a voice at that point, really, because I was so far away. That was like, obviously, if I was there, I would have freaking came there with whatever, piece tool that I had, and we'd be going in there like a SWAT team,
right?
I mean? So
yeah, perfect clear, yeah, ready or not.
Well, yeah, ready or not, literally. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed these stories. These are honestly some of our like you said,
we got tons.
Our top personal accounts of kind of what's happened. Share in the comments if you guys had anything. I'd be very interested to know if you guys had anything that you guys can't explain, or you would like for us to try to understand. Maybe we can try and disprove it for you, or try and understand what would happen as well too. Don't hesitate if you want. We'll even spend, if you have a big one that you want, we can maybe somehow figure out a way for you to message us personally, and we can try and use that as an episode and figure out why that happened to you. So if you have anything like that, let us know. If we don't put anything else out before Halloween, have a good spooky Halloween as well too. It should be a fun one. So enjoy that. Enjoy getting some candy, and yeah.
Yep. Fun like always, guys.
All right.
Enjoy your time.
Enjoy your time, and we'll see you on the next one.